Hello Internet, and welcome to my post-mortem, as I'm calling it, of Pokemon Go. Why am I calling it a post-mortem? Well, in part because, you know, overly hyperbolic, emotive, clickbaity video titles to drag in views, which is probably not going to work because, you know, 3 people watch my videos. It's gone down from last time I said it. I'm pretty sure I used to always say 26. Anyway, the other reason is the game has very much stagnated. It's still popular. There are still a lot of people playing it, and at one point in the clip you're seeing, I'm not actually recording what I'm saying as this here records, because I didn't want to walk around the streets of Invercargill looking for Ghastlies while talking to myself about Pokemon, because I'm not that level of crazy yet, and I don't want people to think I am that level of crazy. But anyway, yes, the game has... So, what I was basically saying, before I got on a tangent, as I always do, is I noticed at one point in these clips that you're watching that the gyms that I had controlled have been taken over. So there are still people actively playing in Invercargill. And, you know, that's good. I am happy that there are people playing the game and that they're having fun. Me, not so much. This is the Halloween event where they doubled Pokemon candies and made it really easy to get Ghastlies and so on, is pretty much the first time I've played this game in a very long time, which, yeah, not so good. I just don't find the game that fun anymore, for a number of reasons, and I wanted to talk about why, and I'm sure there are reasons that most people will agree with, or angrily disagree with, one or the other. That is typically how the internet works. The first and most obvious is... I realise it's something that pops up a lot. You look at any comment by Niantic or by the Pokemon Go Facebook page and you get people being like, oh, where's my tracking system? Where's my tracking system? Blah, blah, blah. And really that is a massive, massive issue. Buddy, the fish found a candy. I'm going to have to edit that in there now properly. This is not a style of video I've ever really done before. I'm used to recording while I'm talking. It's just how I find it easier to do. So this is probably going to require a lot more editing. And here's a Ghastly! And there's me failing miserably at throwing. Yeah, this catching screen is really the only gameplay in the game, and it's pretty much hurl a Pokeball at a Pokemon. Also, I've noticed as well that for some reason, it's recording it with my status bar at the top of the screen. It used to always be full screen and wouldn't actually do that, so you can see the fact that somebody's trying to talk to me, and I can't remember who it was now. That's not important. Yeah, without the tracking system, there's really no actual gameplay in the game. If there was something like the Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, it has the DexNav system where it'll tell you, oh, there's a Pokemon nearby. Something like that would work a lot better. The big flaw with that style of system, as I could see it, would be the DexNav only tells you if there's a Pokemon nearby, but because I think the range of the tracker is something like 1 kilometre or half a kilometre or something, that's a huge range to walk, and that sort of system wouldn't work, but there should be something that's at least gives you a vague idea of what direction it was. I remember when I first started playing the game, there was the rumours that when the thing down at the bottom right of the screen there flashed, it meant that you're walking in the right direction to find the Pokemon that you're trying to track. That does not appear to be the case at all. In fact, everybody knows that's not the case anymore. The flashing just meant that it was updating the tracker. But when you had that there, you could at least kind of get a rough gauge for the fact that you were trying to go in the right direction. Plus, when it had the footsteps, you could be like, oh, I've gone from 3 footsteps to 2 footsteps, I must be heading roughly in the right direction. But without that, the tracker down the bottom right there is literally just, here's some Pokemon that you might maybe see, but probably won't. And the fact that there's no gameplay like that, it really is just something that you do while you're walking around, and quite frankly, when I'm walking around and I've got my phone, I'm probably going to be looking on Facebook or whatever random website I feel like being on. I'm not going to be playing Pokemon Go because I would just be walking doing nothing else. Oh look, there's my egg that's been hatching. They seem to have actually fixed up some of the issues with the eggs. They used to be quite bad where you'd walk a few hundred meters, it wouldn't update it at all, and you had no idea like how well your egg was tracking. I do also appreciate the fact that the buddy system I like, you saw before. Well, down at the bottom left there is my Magikarp that my 12-year-old sister told me to name Buddy the Fish, which is why he's called that. I'm about halfway to a Gyarados. Probably because I don't actually play the game that much, and I'm too lazy to actually do it. But that actually brings me into my second main issue with the game, which is the lack of variety of Pokemon. The only reason I've really been playing it is because I had a decent playing it in the last few days is because I've had a decent chance of getting a Ghastly and getting a Gengar out of it. If apart from that, I would play the game, I'd walk around town, and I'd get Pidgeys and Weedles, and something that actually really kind of disappointed me was I was hoping that different towns would have different ratios of Pokemon, like, well, the most obvious example is if you play, I believe, Red version, you have a much higher chance of getting a Weedle, and if, in Viridian Forest, like, I'm talking about the actual original Pokemon games here, if you play Blue version, you've got a much better chance of getting a Caterpie. Like, it's not impossible to get the other one, but I would have thought it would have made sense to, I don't know, oh, Cubone, yeah, it would have made sense to base it off, like, the town name or something, like have some algorithm that reduces the name of a town that you're in down to a 1 or a 2, and then use that to be like, oh, we'll give them more of the Red version type Pokemon in this town. And really, they just needed more variety of Pokemon. Something that I've heard a lot of people complain about, but I can't quite so much relate with, is rural Pokemon. Rural players just, it bases spawn rates on cell phone usage, which, yeah, I can see why they do it like that there, but I can see why rural players, I hate that word, it's a terrible word to say, rural players are difficult to do. Oh, here's the analysis system, that I just flicked over quickly to see whether or not the Cubone is actually worth keeping, which it is not, and, oh, egg. Let's look at the egg. I know it's gotta be, because, you know, pre-recorded footage. It's a Psyduck! Woo, Psyduck. I have, like, 2 decent Golducks and 1 rubbish Golduck, and Buddy the Fish found a candy. Yes, the other problem with the game, and it's one that I don't think quite so many people have touched on, is that it's not very Pokemon-y. Like, one of the main things about the game is, you know, you catch Pokemon and then you transfer all of them, which I believe I'm about to do in this footage now. Oh no, I'm about to evolve my Batman there. I'm not going to evolve him because my other Cubone is better. See, I like the appraisal system. The appraisal system is nice. I never really cared about the EVs of Pokemon in this game, or whatever they're called in this game. Pretty much your Pokemon have hidden stats that you can never see, and the appraisal system is a way to find it out. There were other ways to find it out that involved using complex computers and stuff, and by complex computers I mean a website that people had figured out what the formula behind it was through, like, data mining and stuff. But there goes my first Marowak. Oh yes, the main gameplay in this game is you go and catch a whole bunch of Pokemon, and then you release half of them, or transfer to the Professor or something like that there, and I've just noticed there's a Gengar that I never found in the tracking system down the bottom. This is going back to my complaints about the tracking system that everybody else complains about. But you transfer them to the Professor, and then that gives you candies, then you feed your candies to your Pokemon to evolve them or make them stronger, and that's not how Pokemon is supposed to work. There used to be lots of memes and stuff when the game was actually ridiculously popular about, like, feeding Pokemon into a grinder to make candy and stuff like that, and that's what the Professor's actually doing, and that's how I genuinely referred to transferring Pokemon. It was, oh, I'm going to go throw this guy to the meat grinder because he's not very good. And that's what it feels like. You're throwing away Pokemon to feed your other ones that you care about more, kind of, or that happen to have better stats, and competitive Pokemon can kind of get a bit like that there because you want to breed for perfect IVs, which are basically the Pokemon version of genetics. Like, you want Pokemon with ideal stats. That's a totally different matter. I'm not going to talk too much about that. Like, there's a bit of that there, but I've always played Pokemon with the whole, you try to get one Pokemon that you love the most, and then you train it and keep it with you, and that's what they've sort of tried to go with the buddy system. But it's not really the same. Oh, that gym looks really strong. I'm not taking that over. I actually don't control any gyms at the moment because, you know, I've barely played the game since I recorded this footage. But yeah, the whole candy system just isn't very Pokemon-y. It doesn't feel right as somebody who loves the original games and is looking forward to going to the midnight release in 2 weeks for Pokemon Sun and Moon. So, how would I fix Pokemon Go? I think that's ultimately what I should be asking. Well, the most obvious one that everybody says is the tracking system. When I was recording this here, I was watching that Gengar down in the bottom right like a hawk, and it never popped up. I probably was walking in the right direction, but by the time it disappeared off my tracking, which happens very shortly because the game crashed, which I believe you are about to see now. This is me attempting to twirl the Pokestop there. Nothing's happening because the game's crashed. Well, not really, because I can open up the menu still, but apart from that, the game's crashed. Good work. And by the time I reloaded the game, the Gengar had disappeared. So there was no way I could have found the Gengar. So yeah, fix the tracking system. I understand completely why they kind of broke the tracking system. Well, why they broke the maps that were feeding off the API and stuff. But I've never really fully understood why exactly they broke the tracking system. There needs to be something that's like, oh, this is what's roughly in this direction, even if it's not that accurate. Something that could kind of work well is the survey system in World of Warcraft Archaeology, where you have a ability that you move and it tells you, oh, there's a thing in this direction, and depending on how far away it is, it's like a 90-degree arc. It's like, oh, it could be over to the north, or it could be over to the east, or it could be to the northeast. It's somewhere in that sort of rough triangle, cone shape thing. But you don't know exactly where. My phone's making a lot of noise at the moment. Something like that there, where you've got a sense of direction to the tracking system. That's what it needs. The other thing that I would do is actually introduce TMs. TMs being the things that you use to teach moves to Pokemon in the core series games. They need something like that there because you've got no control over that. And again, big part of the actual Pokemon games. And apart from that, well, they've said they're bringing in trading and battling at some point, so that needs to hurry up because be quiet, phone. But yeah, that's, I don't know what else to do. I'm honestly kind of disappointed that the game has lost a lot of its popularity, because I genuinely had a lot of fun playing the game, and I know other people do still have fun playing the game, and like I said right at the start of this video, if you're having fun playing the game, I'm happy for you. I genuinely mean that. It's not for me. I'm very much looking forward to when Sun and Moon comes out. I'm going to play the hell out of that there. I pretty much have an all-nighter planned because I have work the next day, and I'm going to the midnight release because I'm an idiot. But, yeah, I have a lot of Drowzees. I'm not really sure what else to say, to be honest. That's my sort of review that comes extremely late for this kind of fun, but needs a lot of work game, and I'll probably come back to it at some point when the game gets more fun. Who knows? I don't. Anyway, thanks for watching, or for listening, or whatever you're doing, etc, etc, and yeah. Bye.